Everybody, welcome back to the Rebel Chums channel. We make another video on the new style. The reason why I make a video is actually there's two reasons for that. And first of all, I'm still in the queue. I'm playing World of Warcraft Classic on the European servers. I supposedly have a 10-minute queue, but yep, still around 10 minutes. So I thought I'd make a video regarding a video from another YouTuber that I saw probably uh, a week or so. No, a couple of days ago by JC the Blind Jedi, a very cool YouTuber and very nice dude. Um, I just want to latch on to the fact that yeah, he's absolutely right. There is a decline in the custom lightsaber hobby as a whole, and there's a few reasons which I believe is the basically leading to several people that were like highly regarded in the community or very active in the community of light custom lightsaber collecting and whatnot to go out of that space basically and stop doing what they're doing for various reasons. And I think that coincides with the fact that there's a decline of interest in custom lightsabers as a whole, um, simply because the biggest in my opinion, when I started to get really into the hobby was around mid to end 2015, around the release of The Force Awakens, which clearly was because we had a new Star Wars movie in quite a while, and it was in the new Disney era, so everybody was super excited. And that led to a massive increase of people getting interested in picking up custom lightsabers. At the same time, just I think by coincidence, a lot of people became friends, and yeah, it came together at that time frame. A lot of people, including myself, and I think still till this date it was the most amazing time in my Star Wars fandom career. It was just amazing. I really I would said it in my early videos in 2050 as well. I said just fully embrace it, just enjoy it as long as it will be, because at some point it will decline. It won't be as crazy, as popular, as interesting as it was in that time frame. And yeah, it came true, right? I mean, the Force Awakens came out. I think it was an okay movie. Then The Last Jedi, which it's rough, but I started to watch it recently, and I kind of really enjoy it. Um, I think it will be a pretty good movie after the last one come out, and it will explain everything and all the holes and plot things and blah blah blah. I think it will be fine. I think The Last Jedi will be a fine movie once that the new movie, The Rise of Skywalker, come out. Now, what I mean is, in general, is I think there's just a massive decline of people in the hobby, because people are just leaving the hobby after a couple of lightsabers in the past few years. I mean, they have touched down with it, they have felt it, it's very interesting, it's very cool, but they're moving on in other parts in their life. And I think that's partially because, well, most of the Star Wars hardcore fans, the ones that spent a lot of money in this hobby or Star Wars space hobby, um, are in the mid 30s to 40s, basically. Those are the ones that are big spenders. They buy several lightsabers and whatnot. They just have the disposable income. Of those people, of course, a lot of them maybe got families. They got their first, second, third children. They just spent quite a bit of money on it. They have enjoyed the hobby. They've tried it out, and now they want to just move on to try out different stuff or reserve money for family, etc. So I think that's also a massive impact on the way how the lightsaber community now is steadily declining in terms of popularity. You can see it on the Facebook groups; those were super popular. They still have a lot of members, of course, but the interaction by the members is not as explosive as it was back then, in 2015, where there was like zillion new posts, new people in the hobby asking millions of newbie questions, including myself. You hardly see that the last 2 years or so. You hardly see that as often anymore. um, then of course, there's so many new lighters came to the market since 2015 that now we have a flooded market. Every lightsaber company has their own version of this hilt or that hilt. You can buy them for $1 and a dime almost on the secondhand market. There's just a complete flood of these lightsabers, from cheap quality to high end and everything in between. Limited runs that were not so limited, and there were like 3-4 runs of said limited run. If you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it's just flooded. There's a lot on the market, and people try to offload it. Like JC also said, a lot of it is because they have outdated video soundboards in them, and people don't value those lightsabers as much anymore because they're basically lacking quite severely on the whole smooth swing and on the neopixel department. So yeah, hey, what's up, bro?
Hey.
So a lot of people are not valuing those lightsabers as much. So you have to think of tri-cree setups, Nada Biscotti Trees Force, etc. in that line. So yeah, of course, the tech has evolved quite significantly, but at the same time, when that new tech came around, there's a smaller group of fans interested in spending those kind of money. And with those new techs, those lightsabers also became more expensive. So with the introduction of NeoPixel, etc., we're looking easily at 400, 500, 600 plus US dollars for a NeoPixel lightsaber. That is a departure of the lightsabers that we have for the last few years. And you have to think about the quad crease, the tri crease setups. You still have them, but they just look ill in comparison to the NeoPixels and the smooth swing setup. So that's why I think a good portion of people also got scared away by the upgraded pricing. It doesn't, like, the new technology is fantastic, but it also increments the price upwards instead of phasing out the older tech and retaining the older pricing that we're used to with, for example, the tri-cree setups, the quad-cree setups. Of course, labor is more labor intensive than newer tech. There's more cost and production involved, more whatever. So yeah, I think that's also a massive factor. And just because of the Last Jedi, we're 2 movies in. The third Star Wars movie coming. We have the Star Wars Rebels, which was great. We get the Clone Wars, but it takes really long to get. Was that season 6 or 7?
Wow.
So we're still waiting for that. We get the Mandalorian, which surely will spark some new Star Wars fan. We had Rogue One and Solo, which were none little lightsaber related movies, although they were Star Wars movies, of course. Also, those movies were received questionable. Some people loved it, like me. Some people did not like it one bit. And yeah, so we have several movies now, several TV shows, more coming up, etc. So we get a little a flooding of the Star Wars content as well. So there's a lot. There's a lot new Star Wars content, and I mean, it keeps coming. So it becomes more of a norm. It's norm. Like, it's not like super exciting anymore. It's just an ongoing process. We're gonna keep seeing more of it, more of it, more of it, more of it. And I think that's also have a massive impact on the custom lightsaber industry, and people spending not so much money anymore on custom lightsabers. And yeah, they have seen it. The cool factor is off. The wow factor is died down a bit. Custom lightsabers are globally mainstream scene much more known by now, with all the lightsaber dueling clubs and the whatever. There's so much coverage of custom lightsabers, so much, a lot more than it was before 2015. So it's a lot of people are aware of that there are like these really expensive lightsabers. They don't have the specifics, but a lot more people are aware of it. And because of that, you would say it lowers the entry level to get into the hobby. But actually what it did was, people saw it, the cool factor, looked at the pricing. Maybe they got into the whole lightsaber stuff recently they look at the pricing, and yeah, it's really expensive with the NeoPixel and the smooth swing setups, and then they have, of course, the Ultra Sabers, the Saber Forges, which are still relying on the older tech for the same prices in 2015. But I think because we have several movies in now, not everybody's super stoked on getting a lightsaber before the movie comes out to carry it with them to the actual movie itself, and have that before the release, etc. That excitement, that pressure, I think, is gone, and I think that's also the reason why in general the popularity is not as much as it used to be in 2015. And just show you really quick. Oh, there's a picture that I want to. Oh, I can't. Okay, I was messing things up. But yeah, I'm in World of Warcraft now with my mage. Let me quickly show you guys if you want to join me. So here, I don't know if that comes out very clear. I'm very professional here. This is my mage. Hello, on that mage. Anyway, so I think that's a very large reason contributing to the fact that the popularity of custom lightsabers is lower in the community. And then, yeah, one more. And then also, of course, some has some social media rock stars in the custom lightsaber community are gone. Shamim and a few others, installers mainly, because it's not profitable. It was just a hobby. Real life comes in. At some point, you just get a full-time job, girlfriend, wife, whatever, and it's just not sustainable to do that in the weekends at nighttime. It's just with all the new tech as well with NeoPixel, it gets a little bit more labor intensive, not by super much, but again, it's also the cost of the production of making those products with the NeoPix and whatnot. The price is a bit higher than it used to be with just a simple tri-qui setup, etc. And as I said, on the second-hand market, you see a flood of those kind of lightsabers, because that tech is not really something a lot of people are looking for still, because they just want to evolve the technology and just have the latest and greatest. And then they look at the pricing, 5, 6, 700 US dollar for a NeoPixel lightsaber. In a lot of eyes of the regular people, that is something that's too high. And then yeah, I don't know. That has some a certain outcast to what, for example, Ultra Sabers and Saberforge still offer, because they compare it and think, yeah, I can get this cheaper Saberforge or Ultra Saber, but it doesn't have NeoPixel, it doesn't have this and that, and it just appeals a bit, and then they don't feel it worth the money as much either, even though it's cheaper and just use the tech that we had already in 2015. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a bit far fetched, but I do still think that at a certain degree it might have had some impact on that as well. Um, for me personally, I think it's a great time to have it cool down a bit, take it easy peasy, and just pick pieces left and right to have the really cool lightsabers, and just enjoy them. And I don't have to mass collect them or anything like that. To just enjoy them like a nice wine. You don't drink the wine every day. You just pull out the wine once in a while and drink some nice wine. It's okay, and it might come back again. It might be becoming popular again after a while. I don't know, but I do think a lot of the people that were in the hobby the last few years, that were very pronounced on the forums, especially the Facebook groups. Those people will just be completely gone, and I don't think they will come back so easy. Uh, for the reason that it's at certain age, then you just you pass some, you go some beyond something, you get over it, and then it will be hard to go back to anything. For most people, they will not go back to a certain hobby or time frame. They just evolve with their life and then move on with other stuff. And I can understand it economically. Custom lightsabers are extremely expensive in this day and age. In 2015 was already super expensive, but at least we had like the excitement of the new Star Wars movie, or the excitement or the uncertainty, unknown, new exciting chapter in Star Wars galaxy. And now we have seen several movies and whatnot as TV shows that certainty has been filled. We know what's going on, how it will look like. We have a good touch and feel with it. So I think that's a good reason why more and more people might leave the hobby for something else, and it's okay. Just a passage of life, right? Passive rights, however you want to call it, and I think that's there's nothing wrong with that, and yeah, I mean I think that's a good factor, and I think also we should not gauge the community as a whole based on a few YouTubers, including for example myself, or in particular with Shamim, etc. If they leaving the hobby, that is an indication on how the community is doing as a whole. I don't think that's the case either, because that I don't think that's that they're like a stopgap measure for the community as a whole. Yes, they did bring a lot of good stuff to the community, but yeah, they're just people like you and me and everybody else. And if they leave the hobby, then they leave the hobby. And I don't think that's per se an indication that the entire community is going to bananas. Um, but yeah, it just happens around naturally around the same time, and I can see it on the Facebook groups, etc. There's just yeah, it just slows down quite a bit, and yeah, people just lose interest. They're definitely still members of the Facebook groups, but they're just not active anymore. They're not actively buying new custom lightsabers, not actively yeah, fantasizing about all the different brands and models and whatnot, and it's okay. I mean, it's just a hobby after all, guys. It's a hobby. It's not a lifestyle as some people try to proclaim. It's a fantastic hobby. It's good for the mind, good for the soul and spirit and body. But it's not like I don't know. It's not a lifestyle. So yeah, don't look too much in it. But yeah. Anyway, you will still see me around. But yeah, I mean that was my 50 cents on it. I'm gonna play the game now because I'm talking way too long. Take care, guys. Bye.